Do you hear that? It's the sound of silence. Business is forced to close as the Australian government tries to control the COVID-19 pandemic. With so many workers laid off, many of whom are living paycheck to paycheck and are preparing for the great financial struggles that lie ahead of them. Retail giants like Woolworths and Kohl's are trying to manage the new social distancing regulations as they work hard to keep their stores open, while bars, nightclubs, and even hotels close their doors in the interest of public health and safety. While everyone is doing their best to adjust to the new lockout laws, there is still a business that refuses to even attempt to manage the growing threat of the COVID-19 virus. This is Sydneybackpackers, one of the many backpacker hostels terrorizing locals in Sydney. And so far, nobody, not even the authorities, have been able to stop them. Almost every night, people are harassed by these groups of boozy thugs as they deliberately cough at passersby, who are just trying to make the best of these difficult times. These backpackers are applying graffiti on small businesses that are already enduring tough times, even urinating in restaurant exits. It seems that even after the closure of beach or the shutdown of Noah's backpackers, there is still a growing culture of backpackers who believe that they are invincible and above the law. But should we be surprised? Sydney backpackers have been getting away with their poor business practices for years, completely exempt from the consequences that every other Australian business faces. And the community is fed up. But it's not just what happens outside of Sydney backpackers. It's what goes on inside. Undercover footage released exclusively to the Australian Community News shows the inner shambles of Sydney backpackers where violence, drugs, and low hygiene is running rampant. Parties on the rooftop, groups inside the movie room, and cowardly thugs having fun throwing eggs, bottle caps, and other hazardous materials at anyone they see walking past. Watch as this gang of cowards runs inside Sydney backpackers before the police arrive out front, only to come out again when the coast is clear. Last Tuesday night, Sydney backpackers were unofficially shut down, but not by the police.
You think it's a joke, you think it's funny. But there's people out there dying. There's people dying. Mate, you know the rules. You know the rules that are writing on property and graffitiing. You should be ashamed of yourselves. I'm Spanish, you idiot.
These were the passionate words from a local who has built a rapport with the community. But now, while the world is going to great lengths to keep the community safe, what are the higher-ups at Sydney backpackers doing? The silence is deafening.
You came walking to me to talk. Say I'm stupid. Go ahead. I'm an idiot, aren't I? I'm so stupid that I'm concerned about my fellow citizens in my community. I'd rather be stupid than a disgrace. Yeah, go back inside Sydney backpackers.
It was not long after this young man's passionate speech that other locals came out in his defense and directly scolded what appears to be one of the Sydney backpacker managers.
This is my country. You come into my country, you behave in my law. If not, sorry, no. This is my country right now under lockdown. If they cannot behave, they can get out.
And what did he have to say for himself?
Inside, look how many is there.
Right now it's against the law.
You guys should be ashamed of yourselves.
This is the last straw with them. We've had meetings.
Yeah.
You are making a problem for my hotel. I've got guests here.
Everybody's sick of you.
You are making a problem for my hotel.
New laws and penalties have been introduced that will see offenders fined up to $11,000 and or 6 months in prison. But what about appalling hostels that are profiting off the misery of law-abiding citizens? Hostels, like Sydney backpackers, that face zero consequences for their bad practices. Will they be the next hostel the council rightfully shuts down? Or will Sydney backpackers be allowed to continue to laugh at the victims of this epidemic, knowing that they can continue to terrorize the community?